I wasn't supposed to be at that wedding, not by a long shot, and definitely not in the haha, surprise twist of fate way you see in movies, but in the very real, very awkward way where the bride was my ex-girlfriend, and I, for some unfathomable reason, decided to show up. I wasn't invited, of course, I mean, who invites their ex to their fairytale day, right? And I didn't go to be spiteful or crash it for drama. I wasn't planning some sad attempt to win her back, no dramatic speeches or running down the all nonsense. I went because I needed something I didn't get when she left, closure, or at least an answer to the question that had lived rent-free in my chest for months. How do you move on without ever being allowed to say goodbye? Our breakup wasn't explosive, it was worse. It was quiet, cold, sudden. She called one day, said she felt distant, and just like that, I was erased. From her life, her phone, her plans. Gone. I watched her Instagram morph into a picture-perfect life with another guy who, apparently, didn't forget to text back or get nervous around commitment. When I heard she was getting married, I laughed, not because I found it funny, but because my body didn't know how else to react. But something inside me, maybe pride, maybe pain, told me I had to see it, to prove I was over it, to walk into that wedding like I wasn't the same guy who once thought she'd be my forever. So I put on my best suit, not the rented kind, the real one I had tailored for a wedding that never happened, and I went. I stood near the back, like a ghost floating through someone else's story. The venue was everything she'd dreamed of. Glowing chandeliers, elegant white roses, people dressed in polite perfection. She looked happy, or at least, convincing. And I told myself, good, she's okay. And I'm okay too. I meant it, mostly. I was just about ready to sneak out unnoticed when the DJ announced the bouquet toss. Now, obviously, I wasn't planning to be part of that madness. I was far away, munching a cupcake near the corner. But as if the universe wanted to slap me one last time, the bride spun around and launched the bouquet like she was aiming for the moon, and somehow, and I swear I didn't move, it hit me square in the chest and tumbled right into my arms. The whole room froze. People turned. The bride stared. My ex's eyes widened like she'd seen a ghost from her discarded timeline. And I was just standing there, holding flowers like some twisted plot twist no one ordered. I almost dropped them. Almost. But then, and this is where it really gets wild, a voice from beside me said, "Well, that's one way to catch feelings." I turned, and there she was. A woman I'd never seen before, not overly dressed up like the others, but effortlessly elegant, hair tied back, this quiet confidence in her posture, and in her hand a plate with 3 cupcakes. She smiled, kind of amused, and said, "You just caught a wedding bouquet at your ex's wedding. That's either fate being funny or trauma in floral form." I couldn't help it, I laughed. A real laugh, one I hadn't felt in months. Her name was Meher. She was a friend of the groom's sister, dragged to the wedding out of politeness, and she confessed she'd been people-watching all night, silently ranking guests based on likelihood of emotional breakdown. Apparently, I had just shot up to number 1. We ended up sitting at a small table by the bar, both pretending we weren't hiding from the crowd. I told her about the breakup, the silence, the confusion, the emotional ghost town I'd been stuck in. She told me about her own past, the guy who strung her along for 3 years before announcing he didn't believe in labels. We laughed at how stupid love can be and how even when you swear you're over someone, some tiny, embarrassing part of you still hopes they'll regret letting you go. Somewhere between the sarcasm and shared bitterness, we started to relax. It was strange. It felt easy. She made a joke about how maybe fate didn't hate me, maybe it was just trying to reroute me. And maybe she was right. Because for the first time since the breakup, I wasn't thinking about her, I was thinking about this smart, sarcastic, calm woman sitting across from me, who somehow understood my pain without trying to fix it. When the wedding started winding down and the guests were all either drunk, dancing, or pretending not to gossip, Meher walked with me to the parking lot. The air was cool, the kind of silence you almost don't want to break. I thanked her for the talk, the company, the moment of unexpected sanity. She smiled and said, "If you're ever forced into another bouquet moment, just promise me you won't run." I grinned. "Only if you're standing next to me when it happens." That night, she sent me a voice note, just a quiet, simple "You seemed lighter. I hope you sleep better tonight." And I did. A week later, we met. A month later, we went hiking and got lost on purpose, talking about dreams, fears, and how weddings are secretly weird performance art. A year later, I asked her to marry me, not with a dramatic speech, but with a cupcake, hidden ring and all. She cried. I nearly dropped it. It was perfect. And now, as we plan our wedding, I joke about throwing the bouquet straight at her just to keep the tradition going. She rolls her eyes and says, Fate already did its job. Let someone else have their ridiculous beginning. And she's right. Because if there's one thing I've learned, it's this: life doesn't care about perfect timing or flawless plans. Sometimes, the weirdest moments, the ones you're not supposed to be part of, become the moments that start everything. And fate, well, fate's got a strange sense of humor. But sometimes, she gets it exactly right.